Hey guys, it's JQ Crafty. Welcome to a Product Focus Friday, the last one for July. We are working on old American crafts this month, just plain generic American crafts. I have a little bit left of this one, the Campy Trails, and then, oh, I don't need these. So I grabbed this one 12 by 12 that I have. Campy Trails was from 2010. And then this stuff is from that collection as well. I don't think the green was. The green might have been from something else. This piece of brown cardstock that I cut a chunk out of. This was also from Campy Trails. And then this one was from a fall collection called something else. But I liked the blue. Even though it doesn't match, I liked maybe it with this. I have this picture of myself on the boat hanging out, and today's embellishment that we're supposed to use up is acrylic. So I have this awesome green Great Outdoors and also this like pale yellow Lazy Days. I'm not sure which one I want to use, but I like that this one had a sun behind a mountain. I mean, there's no mountains at all in flat southern Minnesota, but acrylic is what we want to use. I'm going to apologize. The next few videos that you see from my channel are going to be lit like this. My amazing circle light was melting. Turns out that so I have this big pet peeve of if you're going to sell a item that has a USB plug, I think you should sell the appropriate wall plug-in for it. So what I discovered when I got this one is you couldn't use just any old wall plug. You couldn't use like an iPhone brick to plug it into the wall. It got way too hot. So I did research, found amperage, voltage, tried to find one I couldn't find one in the middle ground, so I got one. Well, turns out it was letting too much voltage into my light. So it protected my house, but the internal thing of my light started melting. The plastic did. The other day I could smell it. I don't know why it took that long for it to melt, but it did. It started. So, yep, light's kaput. I don't need a fire at my house. I have another light on its way, but it won't be here, I think, for like 5 more days. I did do Amazon Prime, so hopefully it'll be a little bit faster. I think it already shipped, which is already promising. So hopefully there will be like this video, maybe one other one that'll be recorded like this. But I just wanted to give everybody a heads up. I'll probably mention in every video that it's recorded in. But yeah, we are going to scrap lift another May I Scrap Lift You. We're going to do this one. I really liked the look of the paper. It's all the background paper, but it's ripped and torn and cut in different angles, and I really like that dynamic. So I wanted to use this as the main one, and then I was going to put pops of this and this in there, or possibly pops of this and maybe like smaller ones. I could do the orange or the blue. We'll see. Depends on how I decide to cut it. I don't know if I'm going to cut it exactly like they did, but I really like the idea. So that's why I'm not too worried that I don't have a full of this brown. I figured I can make it so a big chunk just covers that up. So let's get started.
All right, so first thing, I'm just going to start randomly cutting this paper and kind of piecing it back together is basically what I'm going to do. And then decide to replace some of the pieces with some of those other patterned papers. I ultimately decide not to use the kind of like aqua with the cream polka dot or like dotted line, just because it was a completely different blue. It didn't go, it just wasn't going to work. And I also decided after I was looking up when this photo was taken that I had picked out of me sitting in the boat, I had another photo taken the same day, and I don't necessarily need 2 12 by 12 pictures of the same thing when it was like just my feet and then me and my husband in a selfie, and that was it. So I grabbed that. So I'm going to have 2 photos. So I go ahead and start distressing these pieces. Now, I really liked the way that Brookside Creations, which I don't think I mentioned that in the intro, that's who I'm scrap lifting, Brookside Creations. I love the way she cut it, but I didn't necessarily need to do it the exact same way. And I just kind of just went with where I felt like it would be kind of fun to have a pop of color here and there. But I feel like her balance is probably way better. And maybe it's just the choice of papers too. I'm not sure. But yeah. So I just honestly just randomly started cutting angles and chunks and things. So I distressing the edges and just tacking them down with my tear tape that I got from Spiegel Mom Scraps. And then I was able to flip over that one piece because this pattern paper is yellow on the back side. And then I will grab some of those scrap pieces and replace some of those with, replace some of the pieces with those patterns instead. And distressing the edges the whole way. And yeah, it just, you kind of just have a play and decide where you want to replace them. I just kind of went with it. But I wanted to apologize again for this going up really late. And so at the end of the video, I had recorded, or at least I thought I did, of me drawing for next month. Well, apparently when I thought I hit record, I actually hit stop recording because I thought I had already hit stop recording. It's just how the week's been, you guys. I keep coming up with an excuse this week, but it's just how the week's been. So I do not have me drawing. So I'm going to tell you right now as you're watching me cut papers, and I'm just going to map my photos on this green, and then I'll replace one more section with the green as well. So what I ended up drawing out of the basket was crepe paper. And I didn't think I had that much crepe paper, but I found like 5 or 6 old kits from the scrap room. So that's going to be fun because it's not, I think maybe 1 or 2 might be new stuff. And I think I have a little bit of crepe paper that is newer, like the last couple years as well, but I'm not going to go into those. I'm just going to use my old scrap room kits. So I chose crepe paper, and then I also chose paper, which is the smallest category because obviously we're playing with paper. That's scrapbooking. The base of it is paper. So like the main focus is going to be paper. So, and there's only 4 categories in my paper section. If anybody can think of another category that would go good in the paper section of a category, please comment down below. That'd be awesome. But what I picked is, so on the 6th of August, we are going to do a kit. So I'm just going to focus on a kit. I'm going to try to use as much of that one kit as possible. That's what I'm going to do. So anything and everything in that kit, that's what I'm going to use. 13th, we're going to use colored cardstock. That's a paper. The 20th, we're going to bring in pocket cards. So I'll bring pocket cards in from my stash. And the 27th, we're going to bring in a cut file. So that's what we're going to do. So if anything else you can think of that is specifically paper, ooh, do you want to be a good section? Speaking of, now that I'm just like sitting here thinking of it, branding strips specifically. Because I save branding strips. So I'm going to add that as a category in paper. That is not something we're doing this month, but I'm adding it right now while I'm thinking of it. So if anybody else thinks of anything, let me know. Let's see, what am I doing? Oh, so, okay. So I took after I tacked down all the pieced pieces, I took them to my sewing machine and I stitched around every single item. And now I'm just creating a cluster in the middle. Some scraps I used making a tag, used my little nice hole punch, used the yellow side to use that as the hole reinforcers, kind of angled my photos together after I matted them on the green paper, and I'm just creating kind of a center area. I have pulled in some ribbon from my stash. It's like a brown ribbon with a light blue through it. It's like the perfect color. I'm just going to tack that down with some glue dots. I'm not going to bring in staples or anything. Didn't feel like doing that. So I'm doing that, and then that way I have this little cluster going on up there. I'm going to try and use this whole package of from Colorcast Designs. So it's 3 acrylic trees, the acrylic word the great outdoors, and the greens and the blues in those acrylic pieces matches this collection perfectly. And then there is this wood veneer like mountains with a sun, almost like looking like a sun setting. This was the evening that we were fishing, just us, so I thought it would be perfect. I have them over there to the left. You can see them. So I'm going to try to use those items up, and I end up successfully doing that. So I'm just gluing this all down, and now I'm going to start gluing down my acrylic pieces and tucking this wood veneer piece in right here up above the photos. So after I did that and I'm gluing down my acrylic pieces, I realized like something else needs to go up there in that cluster. So I'm going to dig in my stash for some labels, and I'm going to put a small label, and they end up being ones from Pretty Little Studio. Their Here Comes the Sun collection. I only grabbed the labels, I think, from Paper Issues at one point, and just because they're fun. There was like purple, yellow, blue, this limey green, which is what I use. I use the last two of that, and I'm going to stamp the date and put it up there on the left, nestle it on the photo, kind of tucked by the tree and between the mountains, and then use the longer one to put below my title, and kind of that will be my journaling, and that'll be the basis of my layout. But yes, so you'll watch me finish that up. I'm going to pull in some white, kind of, they're not necessarily enamel dots, but they're like gem dots, but they're just like a matte white, but they have like gem texture to them, so they have like angles in them. I'm going to put a couple of those in each little area as well, just to have something else in those clusters. But yeah, relatively simple. The background does all the work for you, and I really like layouts like that. Just something fun to try. I have been watching a lot of YouTube whenever I get a chance and getting some fun ideas to try some things. So I'm hoping to try some things in August that I want to play around with. My brain is just like bubbling with ideas. So wanting to try some items or some techniques in August, play with some mixed media, some paper folding, that kind of thing. So yeah, stamping that date, and then I'm going to do my journaling, and that'll be it. So some close-ups at the end. Thanks for watching, you guys. I will show you all the crate paper collections I have on the August 6th when I do my first layout, and we'll just choose a kit to use that day, and we'll use the whole thing. So thanks again for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, and give this a thumbs up if you so choose, and we will see you next time. Bye.